Hi folks, I'm doing this video as a person who's been a fan of Manchester United since I was 7 years old. Right now, the club is a complete joke. An absolute joke. All season, they were saying that the number one target was Anderson. They were basically hoping that Forest would go down so they could get Anderson on a cheap, which pretty much means that they're con artists in charge. They were conning the fans by making the fans believe that they were going to go after Anderson, right? And again, I'm sorry, but again, if you are an operation, a professional operation, where you've got the right people in place, if, for example, if I'm in charge of a football club and I want Anderson, right? Anderson is our number one target. I'm saying to the people in charge of that, okay, before the end of May, go and get him. Go and get him. Why are you wasting your time on Edison? Why are you wasting your time on him? Spend that time that you're doing that. Go and get Anderson. Boom, go and get him. He's apparently been your number one target, but he wasn't. He never was Man United's number one target. They lied. They lied about it. And so, for me, no, that club is an absolute joke. When Sir Jim Won't Fix It came in and said he was going to get the best of the best, he's a liar. As I said before, I believe it's quite likely Sir Jim Ratcliffe has, like so many other people that are incredibly rich. Yeah, like the bloke who's in charge of Tesla, him. He's not a genius in any way, shape or form. He's as thick as two incredibly thick short planks. The bloke in charge of Tesla. The thing that he did right is that he got the right people. He brought the right people together to get that done. So he was more lucky than genius. So Jim Ratcliffe has been the same in his walk. He's been more lucky than genius because he managed to get the right people in to do the job and make him rich. He's obviously rewarded them greatly, but the reality is a lot of people think he's rich because he's clever, because he's a genius, because he's wise in his businesses. No, he's not. Lucky. Look at what's happened since he came to United. He said he's going to bring in the best of the best. He brought in Barada from City, right? First of all, no, I'm sorry, you don't. You don't. If City want to get rid of Barada, they're not going to be happy for Manchester United to get him if he's good at his job. Are they really? They're going to be saying, no. There's a non-compete. You can't go to Manchester United. They would have that. On their best staff, when they sign the contract, they would say, you can't go to Man United. Right? That would be the compete. You can't do that. You can go to Arsenal, you can go to Liverpool, but you can't go to Manchester United. This is Man City we're talking about. And then you've got Wilcox. They brought him in. Wilcox had never done the job. Same as Barada had never been CEO. He worked under the CEO at City, but he'd never been the CEO. Talk about, let's get people who have no bloody idea what they're doing, really, and let's have them run this club. But then let's pretend to the fans that we're bringing in the best of the best. With regards to players, because of course, saying that Anderson was our number one choice, everyone could see that Anderson was a good player and would fit Man United perfectly. Where the fans know we need to build, he would be perfect for the club. And so, in the end, the club are scrambling around trying to find a midfielder. They brought in Edison, who is a nothing. I don't mean any disrespect to the player, but he's Xerxes, but a bit further back. And Xerxes has been a complete waste of space at Manchester United. Absolute waste of space. He might be a nice lad. He might be a nice lad in the dressing room, but that doesn't mean he should be getting that sort of wage, or they should have paid anywhere near the amount of money. Xerxes, as a player, is worth about 5 million. Because he's not a number 9, he's not a number 10. He's somewhere in between in a position that doesn't exist. Right? So therefore, come on, unless you're willing to try and force him into something. Italian football is perfect for Xerxes. It's nice and slow. McTominay went over to there and has done brilliantly. In the Premier League, McTominay wasn't that good at all. He was struggling. Yes, he would break into the box. He would get the occasional goal for Man United because his technique in that way is pretty good. He's not bad. He's not a bad player, McTominay, but he's nowhere near as good as he looks. Playing for in the Italian league. I don't know who he plays for. It's one of the Inters, Inter Milan or the other one. Yeah. But the reality is, with regards to all of that, But Man United, for goodness sake, for how many years now have they been bringing in players that don't fit? We still have players now that were brought in by Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Still. And for a player to leave, that player pretty much has to leave on a free because the club is absolutely blinking awful at selling players. Absolutely terrible. I mean, talk about them being... And again, that incompetency didn't stop when Ratcliffe came in. Since Ratcliffe has come in, they've sold Garnacho. That's it. The other players that have left on a loan or on a free. And most have left on a free. But on the loan, we had to loan out Anthony, we had to loan out Sancho, we had to loan out Rashford, we had to loan out Onana, we had to loan out... who else? All of them. Whoever else, we had to loan them out, didn't we? Martial left on a free. Ericsson left on a free. Lindelof left on a free. Varane left on a free. Casemiro left on a free. Right? Talk about a club that is a joke. That is an incompetently run joke of a club. Nowhere near the levels that they were before the Glazers come in. And even sort of still when they were there, because, thankfully, and it wasn't just Fergie, it was Mr. Gill also that helped to hold the club up after the Glazers bought it, or stole it, should we say. But there you go. It is what it is. But don't anyone think for a second that this club is serious about, being one of the best teams in the country, yet alone the world. They're not. If they were serious about that, they would have done everything they could to get Anderson, but they did nothing. They did nothing. So, I mean, if you believe what you're told, that they have a policy now that they won't pay over £200,000 a week, well, again, that's stupid. It's incredibly stupid, because if you want to get the best players are going to demand bigger wages than the players that are lesser. And so sometimes you might have to break that. So have it loose.